Hey Evie, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for doing this.
No worries.
One day, I got a message from Evie Lucas out of the blue.
So I had seen you on the TV at home here and I thought you looked quite like a sibling or a couple of siblings of mine. So I messaged you on Twitter. Yeah, which I have done to other people that I don't actually know as well before.
Evie is on a seemingly endless search for people she's related to.
I sort of reach out and say that I'm donor conceived and I'm looking for my siblings, and that you happen to sort of look like one, and that sometimes their parents don't let them know that they're donor conceived ever.
These jelly babies represent the 60 plus siblings she knows exist. It's a search that's helped by the fact she's found her donor. But hundreds of other donor conceived people like Amy Tam have nowhere to even start.
I was just curious about our family, why I didn't have a dad. He wasn't mentioned, he wasn't around. I was confused.
Her mother only told her she was donor conceived when she was 20 years old.
I did struggle with my mental health before and then after, and it's ongoing to stay on this journey of trying to find who my donor is, who my siblings are.
As part of that search, Amy approached the fertility company her mother used. But under New South Wales law, because Amy was conceived before 2010, her donor's identity cannot be released without his consent. And that's difficult to get because his contact details are out of date.
I realised that that was another time in my life where I would be without answers.
Answers are not something the fertility industry was set up to give those it created.
The creation of human life was once an awesome mystery, but these days human beings are being created in test tubes. In Australia, 170 test tube babies have been born since 1980.
In that era, there wasn't really any regulation, and so any record keeping was down to the doctors or the clinics. And what you see is a whole variety of how those records were kept. Some were kept well, some were not kept so well, some later were destroyed.
While some donors welcome a relationship with their offspring, others prefer anonymity.
If the donor is willing, then that's fine. If the donor's not willing, it's just a situation where someone has a heightened sense of entitlement and curiosity.
David Handelsman enlisted some of Australia's first ever sperm donors.
The donors we recruited in the 80s and 90s would never have been donors if that was known to them that they might be approached, let alone forced by oppressive legislation to be disclosed later on. They saw it as a once-off, a no comeback, altruistic help to help women get pregnant.
But some believe rights can be balanced. One suggestion is allowing donors to restrict or completely eliminate contact with their children.
What you're talking about is enabling somebody to have the access to the information that is personal to them as well as the other person, but it allows the other person to have control around their personal sphere, so their privacy.
Advocates want a central register established that can help donor-conceived people find their family. Victoria is the only jurisdiction to have collated historical records, but South Australia and Queensland are considering similar databases. Back in 2013, a New South Wales parliamentary committee recommended it do the same, but the government knocked it back.
ABC journalist and advocate Sarah Dingle gave an account that was the catalyst for that inquiry.
The arguments of the fertility industry that it would be very expensive and annoying for them to change their practices and hand over their records resonated with the New South Wales government, where the arguments of, the trashing of fundamental human rights did not.
As state governments wrestle with many of those same arguments, Amy Tam will keep searching for her father.
I think that would definitely be life-changing. That would mean a lot to me, but I don't really see it happening. Just stay hopeful.
A quest for answers after a lifetime without them. Jake Lapham, ABC News, Sydney.